Alright, today I'm putting in the rest of the lights for the shed. The new brackets have arrived. I've had a few questions about what lights these ones actually are. So there are LED Vance like panel light. They're normally used in like offices, in the false ceilings and that sort of thing, but you can also get suspension brackets, which is what I've got here, and I actually ran out of these brackets. So they're a 36 watt light. They're pretty bright, so 3200 lumens is what they put out, which might not mean a lot to people, but that's pretty bright. So if you go on for the color temperature of these are 6500 Kelvin, which is a daylight, very bright temperature. If you're not familiar with that, just understand that there's three main different temperature readings. So you've got Fahrenheit, Celsius, and Kelvin. They use Kelvin for a lot of scientific types of measurements. And the higher the number, the more white the light is. So 2700 is normally used in the older style gas lights that you see down the street. So they're very orange to yellow. And the new LED ones, you can get a wide range in LED, but for a lot of commercial lighting, 6500, and generally anything over 5000 is fairly white. So in this little area here, this shed's just over 10 meters long and 8 meters wide, and I've got 6 of these panels, so it's pretty bright, especially once I start painting the walls and getting that sorted. Now these little suspension brackets that I got to hang these up, they're on like a little cam system. So once you've mounted the brackets to the actual panel and the bracket to the roof, you just pull them up on a little steel wire. As you can see, I'm putting up here now. Little carabiners on the bottom, and they clip straight to the panel. And you put a level on the panel and up you go, depending on obviously how you want to mount it. I want to mount these parallel with the concrete, so I made them as flat as I can. These new ones that I got, they're a little bit annoying in that they've changed the bracket compared to the last set I got about 8 months ago. It's a little bit flimsy. You actually just bend the L-shaped bracket up with a set of pliers and mount it, whereas the old ones were a proper bracket you screwed in, couldn't move. The panels are fairly light, so it's not a big issue. Yeah, so don't mind my occupational health and safety compliant ladder extension here. It's not going anywhere. It wobbles a little bit only because I haven't leveled the legs. I haven't finished that part yet, but that's the most over-engineered bench seat you'll ever come across. It's about 200 kilos by itself, and then I've got a 42 kilo plank of wood there underneath the ladder to obviously support the ladder from falling through. So it's not going anywhere. Don't have to worry about that. Once I finish that, it'll be on some little casters, so I'll be able to move it, because it's an absolute nightmare to try and move that around the shed at the moment. It's just way too heavy. I just made it out of the offcuts from the shed, so all the support beams on the side. So that was just a little free little weld job together, just to make a little bench seat that I can put against one of the walls once it's all finished being painted. These new brackets that I got, they work on a cam system, so when you pull on the steel cable, it goes up and it grips with some like little teeth. The cable's covered in like a PVC Teflon-y material. Problem is, if you do it too many times up and down, that wears off. And one of these that I got, I did it once, and it just decided, like this one here that I'm putting up now, once I start putting the panel up, it just decided that it didn't want to hold. So then I just had to tie the actual steel cable in a knot to hold it in position. So it takes a little bit longer to put up than what it should have, but we got there in the end. All I'm doing here is just drilling out the main top for the cable bracket, pot riveting on. It's not going anywhere. After I do these ones, I need to put the insulation in. I've got foil board insulation to put up. It's going to be a little bit tricky just to navigate all these cables, and then I have to put a wooden support across the walls that the foil board can sit into, but we'll get to that once I get a cherry picker in, or a scissor lift. Probably a scissor lift, make life easier. The top of this shed in the middle is 5.2 meters. The reason why I made it 5.2 meters was that was the top peak of the old barn style shed that was here, and I was originally just going to re-skim that shed and use it once the garage was built, but it just didn't look right, and it actually worked out only being a little bit more expensive to pull the whole thing down and replace it rather than just re-skim it and use all the original structure and still have the problem of the posts being in the way. That was the main problem, just the posts being in the way. Oh, we've got a bit of a balance going on here. So yeah, no occupational health safety going on here. It's just all common sense. Ideally, just be safe on the ladder and you'll have no problems. So yeah, currently wearing a knee brace, as you can see. Fairly stuffed my leg hiking back in January, to the point where that's sort of helping keep the kneecap in place. I went and saw the surgeon and he's gone, well, we can partially reconstruct it now, or you can just wear it out a bit more, because I really need a full knee replacement. So as long as I can put up with the pain, he's not too fussed about getting me in there just yet, but we'll see how we go. Got another little hike coming up next week, so I'm going to start doing preparations for that, and I'll post that one coming up very, very shortly. This light here also had an issue with the cam, so you can see it's going up and down. I'm trying to get it level, but it keeps dropping down. A little Teflon coating, once those teeth get into it, it just does not want to stay there. But we got there in the end. All working. And these things are bright at night. These are super bright, to the point where you don't even really get any shadow. They're great to work under. Alright, lights finally in and working. It's going to be heaps brighter once I paint the walls white. Now, light switch. Oh, it all works. Although, one thing, I don't know if I stuffed up or they sent me too many. Probably I stuffed up, because I've now got another set of brackets, because there's 2 per bag, which the way the website said, I would need that to finish 4 lights. So it said 2 kits per light this long, but it was 1 kit per light this long. So yeah, so if you need some little brackets, most likely I will, because there was 2 that didn't really pull up how they should, being these 2, but they're up now. This wall to finish.